bring in Richard Viguerie, the chairman of conservativehq.com. Richard, the president in that clip said immigrants, and again, not making a distinction between illegals and those who came here lawfully, but presumably those illegals who already are in this country should be pulled out of the shadow and pay taxes. Do you agree with what he had to say?
Well, not only do I not agree, but overwhelming majority of Americans, probably 75% or more of Americans, don't agree. This is an outrageous act, not only by Obama, which we expect of, but by the Republican leaders, that they're going to, in essence, fund his illegal, unconstitutional actions by giving Obama the budget he wants for the next 10 months.
Richard,
It's a betrayal of the voters. The voters are being betrayed here, and the Republican leaders, JD, have just surrendered to Obama and betrayed the American voters. And it's just a continuation of the conversation you and I have had many times about how the conservatives, how the American people are like the biblical Jews who are not going to get to that promised land until we get new leaders. Republican leaders are failed, they're corrupt, they're immoral, they've betrayed the voters, and the country's going to suffer because, not of Obama so much, but because of the failed Republican leaders.
And what do you think those failing Republican leaders should do right now?
Well, they could not fund that part of the actions of the Obama administration that are illegal, unconstitutional. They should not be funding the amnesty program. They should not be funding, the actions that the American people have clearly said they don't want to fund, such as Obamacare. This election, if it was anything, it was about Stop Obama. That was the theme of this election. We want to stop Obama, and people spoke from one end of the country to the other. We don't want you to fund Obamacare. We don't want you to fund all the lawlessness, the unconstitutional acts, including amnesty. And the Republicans' leaders are acting as if they didn't hear the administration. And they've got this majority in the House and the Senate because the American people said, we want to stop Obama. And the Republican leaders are betraying these voters and ignoring them.
Richard, what a lot of folks in the legislative branch say is that politics is the art of the possible. Mindful of that, would it be better if they went to a short-term funding bill of some sort or attach the language that Jeff Sessions has been calling for, telling the president not to spend any money, restricting his spending on accommodating some 5 million illegals?
Well, exactly, JD. The thing they should, they can fund the budget that Obama wants, but fund it for 45, 50, 60 days, okay? Wait until you get a majority, until reinforcements arrive, and extend it till, early February, and then write the budget that the American people said that they want. But to extend this budget through the end of September, basically 9-10 months, is just a betrayal of the American voters. And this stuff is not difficult. What it tells you is the real heart of the Republican leaders is with bigger government. And this is what they've done. They've compromised with Obama to grow government. So government now with this new budget is growing, which is an exact opposite of what the American people said they wanted.
Richard, about 30 seconds before we have to go to break. Here's the situation. We heard critics say President Obama has ignored the verdict of the voters. In their own way, are Senate and House Republican leaders ignoring their huge victory and the people who provided it?
Well, the Republican leaders certainly are, and quite frankly, any Republican member of Congress, the House or the Senate, that votes to fund the government through September is betraying the voters. And they should all be primaried. They should be on a list to be primaried. Anybody that funds the government that Obama wants and ignores the verdict of the American people should be primaried, and they should be considered as part of the problem, not the solution.
Fair enough, but we are still searching for solutions. And Richard, that's why we're going to ask you to stay with us through the break. Come back and talk about the other challenges confronting conservatives these days.